Hey everybody, Mr. Beltran here again. Today I'm going to go over what I call alphabet exercising. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we are going to draw the letters of the alphabet on the ground in front of us. So remember, please make sure you have a little bit of space to do this. Make sure you're not too close to anything else so that you don't bump into it while we do it. Okay, we're going to start by pretending that we have a pencil on our feet. Okay, on the bottoms of our feet are pencils, and that's what we're going to use to draw the letters of the alphabet. Anytime we have to write a straight line, we're going to do a jump. Anytime then we have to do a curve or rounded line, we are going to kind of walk / jog it, okay? And I'll show you an example as we go. So for example, the first letter is an A. An A starts with at the top, and you make a diagonal line, then another diagonal line, and then you make the line across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top of my space. I'm going to jump diagonally back to make that first line. Okay, then I got to go back to the top. I'm going to make a diagonal line the other way. And then this time I'm only going to go about halfway because now I have to make that line across. Okay, so I just drew a giant A on the ground, pretended to draw a giant A on the ground using my feet. Okay, so now let's do a B. A B, you're going to start with that line going down, and then we have the curve. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top here. I'm going to do that straight line, jumping back first. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the top, and remember for curved lines, it's kind of a walk jog. So I'm going to pretend like I'm drawing that line on the ground as I move around my space. Okay, and I just drew the two curves of the B on the ground. Okay, next one, C. C is just the curve, so we're going to start at the top, and all I'm going to do on my ground is draw a big C as I move my feet. Just did the C. All done. Let's move on to D. D. Straight line with the curve. So I'm going to start at the top. Big giant jump backwards for the straight line. Now I got to get back to the top. And now I'm going to do the curve. Okay, again, make sure you have enough space so you're not bumping into anything. Next one we're going to do is E. E's, all straight lines. This is going to be all jumping. Starting at the top of my space. Jumping backwards to make the big line of the E. Then I gotta go back to the top. Gotta make that first line across. Go back. Go to the middle. Make the second line. Go back. To the back. Make the third line. And I just drew a giant E on the ground. Next one is an F. F is almost the same thing as E. Okay, so we're gonna start at that top. Draw the big line. Jump back to the top. Draw that first line across. Back over, a little bit halfway back, second line across, just made an F. Okay. Next one, G. G is going to be a nice curve, okay, with a little line going across. Okay, so here we go. This time I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to make my curve with a G, okay, and then the little line coming about halfway in. I just did a G. Next letter after G. H. H is all straight lines, starting at the top, big jump backwards. Okay, I'm going to go about halfway. Going to make that line across. Then I'm going to make my straight line on the other side. Okay, H. Now we have I. Whew, I'm getting out of breath. I is another one with 3 straight lines. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to go with my line in the middle from the top to the bottom. Okay, then I gotta go back and do the line across. So I'm gonna jump back, make my line across one side, then the other side, back to the middle, all the way to the back. Then I gotta do the line on the bottom, one side, other side, and I just drew an I. All right, next one, a J. J is gonna have a straight line with a curve, and then a straight line at the top. So here we go, starting at the top. I'm going to kind of jump first, and then I'm going to make my little curve. Then I have to get back to where I was. Then I have to make that line that goes across the top of the J, from side to side. Now we're going to make our K. K starts at the top, jumping backwards, big jump backwards. Now I want to come about halfway, and now I'm going to do a diagonal jump forward, back, and another diagonal jump down a little bit to finish off the leg of the K. All right, L. L is just 2 jumps. Starting at the top, I'm gonna do big jump backwards, big jump over to the side. There's my L. M. Another one with straight lines. Starting at the top, big jump backwards. Okay, then I'm going to come back to the top. Going to do a little diagonal towards the middle, then a little diagonal towards the corner, and then a little diagonal, not a little diagonal, big jump backwards, finish off man. All right, we're halfway through the alphabet. Now, for this next part, you're going to have a choice. You can continue to do it the way that we've been doing it. So straight line means you're jumping, and curve or rounded line means you're kind of walking / jogging around as you make those letters. Or if you want to make it a little bit harder, now instead of using your feet, you're going to use your hands. Okay, we're going to pretend like we got pencils on our hands. These are pencils right here, and we're going to draw it using our hands. We're going to do what's called a bear crawl. Okay, bear crawl, hands are down on the ground, feet are on the ground, but my knees don't touch the ground. Okay, so for example, we're starting with N. N starts at the top. I'm going to draw a straight line down, and then I have to do the diagonal line, and then the other straight line on the other side. So instead of using my feet, I'm going to get down on my hands and my feet. My knees don't touch the ground, and then I'm going to draw with my hands the straight line. Then I'm going to go back. Then I'm going to do the diagonal line, and I have to make the straight line on the other side. Okay, so that's an N. Now remember, if you still want to do it the way that we've been doing it, where you jump the straight lines and then you just walk or jog the round curvy lines, that's okay too. But if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, a little harder for yourself, then you can try it, what we call bear crawl. Hands and feet, but your knees don't touch the ground. Okay, so that was N. So now we're going to go to O. O is a nice round circle. So I'm just going to get down here and I'm going to make a nice round circle all the way around until I get back to the top. I just did it out. All right, now we're moving on to P. P is going to be straight line with a curve. Start at the top, go back, draw my line. Then I got to go back to the top, and then I got to make the curvy part. See, so I'm just pretending like I'm drawing a giant P on the ground, on the floor in front of me here. Now it's a Q. Big circle, and then there's going to be that line that cuts through the circle. I'm going to start at the top here. Make my circle with my hands. And then I gotta come back and draw that little line that cuts through the circle. All right, moving on to R. Start at the top. Going down, back to the top. Give me that curvy part of the R, and then the other diagonal leg of the R. Next is going to be S. Again, if you want to do some where you're jumping the straight lines, walking or jogging the curvy lines, that's okay too. I'm just showing you another way to do it to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay, so on S, it's just a curvy line. Start over here. Gonna draw my S on the ground with my hands. Big giant S. All right. T. T, 2 straight lines. Starting at the top, I'm going to do the big line first. Then I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to go make the line across the top to make my T. All right. U. I'm starting at the top, work my way down, and then kind of curve it at the bottom, and then work my way back up. V, 2 straight lines, diagonal. So here we go. Drawing a giant V on the ground. And then W. It's kind of like a V, except with the straight lines, except we do it twice. So I'm going to start at the corner here, work my way down, diagonal, then a little bit up diagonal, then a little bit back down diagonal, then a little bit back up diagonal. And then X. X are 2 straight lines that cross each other diagonally. So start over here, diagonal, X, And then I gotta make the other diagonal going the other way. X. Almost done. Y. Y. Kind of looks like a V, but then there's that leg that comes down. So I'm gonna start up here in the corner, diagonal a little bit to the middle, diagonal towards the front, come back, and finish the line coming down. And finally, we made it to the last letter, Z. Z, 3 straight lines, 1 across, diagonal, then across. So starting in the corner, do the one at the top across. Then I'm gonna go diagonal down to the bottom, and then across. And we got the Z. So there you have it. Those are what I call the alphabet exercise. I hope you're breathing as hard as I am, because I'm pretty tired. Remember, don't forget to do your stretches afterwards, and then fill out that Google form, the part where it says click here to fill out the form. That way I know you finished this lesson for this week. Okay, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.